Okay, next, we'll invite Holly Bell, our educational specialist, to introduce our education highlight that's from Granite School District. So Holly, you're up.
Holly Bell, Equity Specialist, Utah State Board of Education. And I do have the honor and privilege of introducing Granite School District this morning. Since the revision of R277-707, the Enhancement for Accelerated Students program, some colleagues of mine and I have been traveling the state doing equity labs and working with our LEAs to explore the plans that they have to encourage underrepresented students to participate in college and career readiness coursework, including AP and IB coursework. And we have just been discovering some great things that have been happening throughout the state. And Granite School District is really leading out in these efforts. One of the initiatives that they have started in their district in 2018-19 is the Equal Opportunity Schools program. So I've invited them this morning to share that with you, and they have brought with them an administrator, students, a teacher, that I'm excited to hear from them firsthand what is happening in their district. So I don't want to take their time. I want to introduce Sherry Sorensen, who is the Associate Director of Advanced Learning and Dual Immersion for Granite School District. And without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to you and see if my computer will work to put up their PowerPoint.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here and share the pathway that Granite has gone on. I've had ongoing, a lot of you probably know me, my background is in gifted education, and it's always been a passion of mine to make sure that all students had opportunity to participate in rigorous coursework. I had the advantage of participating in the early college committee that you all directed be formed. And so I had an idea of what types of things that you were going to be asking of the district. So I had a little bit of a jump start on probably some of the other districts. But as I was looking at the literature we read around in that committee and attending conferences and the journal reading I do and trade books, and just listening to what people were saying that we're moving the needle on equity and having students be involved in rigorous coursework, equal opportunity schools kept coming up all over the place as something that was making a difference. So I reached out to Equal Opportunity Schools and felt like they had some really positive things to offer us. And our superintendency agreed, and so we entered into a partnership with them last year. And so I'm here to share some of the positive results we've had in just a year in Granite. So initially, our cohort 1 was Cottonwood, Cypress, Hunter, and Granger high schools. And then this year, we had such positive results. All of the principals were really excited to go into the second year. And then our superintendency said Kearns and Taylorsville would also begin the partnership. So Kearns and Taylorsville high schools are in year 1, and the other 4, so 6 of our total 8 schools are participating with Equal Opportunities. 2018-19 AP participation with each of the groups designated up there, both by ethnicity and by income. And we had in those 4 high schools 923 students of color and low income participating, and total 1,725 total students participating. So after working the year, I've brought an administrator that's going to talk about some of the different things they did at Cypress High School. Our next slide shows where we were after final enrollment counts. This year, 1,794 students of color and 3,124 total students participating in AP this year. So a significant increase you can see in the number of students across all categories and total student enrollment. And why this is important, part of the process with Equal Opportunity Schools is they have a survey. They survey every staff member and every student. So this year we surveyed 11,000 students in Granite high schools. And of those 11,000 students, 80% of them say, I want to pursue secondary education. I want at least a 2-year or more degree. And so we know that participating in rigorous coursework in high school is going to lead more readily to having them fulfill that dream. So we have also the next slide, you will see all grades 11 and 12. This also, because we recognize concurrent enrollment, is an option. This shows our 11th and 12th grade this year across all 6 high schools, the total number of students participating 11th and 12th grade in AP and concurrent enrollment. So we're pleased with the numbers and expect them to continue to go up. There's value in just being enrolled in the class, whether they choose to take the test or not. But one of the things we also did in Granite is we decided to use our AP funds, and we are further subsidizing the test. So even when the students get the reduced test fee, we are using our funds to further pay down the test costs. Because in our survey of kids, that was one of the barriers that they indicated, is there was a barrier for paying for the test. So with the new AP program, whether you may or may not be aware, they have to commit to the test now in November. So our next slide shows our increase in test commitment. The dark blue is 2019 test last spring. 2020 is the lighter blue are students that have committed and paid for test this spring. So we've gone from 1,566 total students testing at those 4 schools in 2019 to 2,413 students have committed to the test. So nearly 1,000 student increase in those 4 high schools. So we are really proud of that. And today I have Jen Christensen, the assistant principal at Cypress, and I'll let her introduce the teacher and students she's brought with her.
Well, good morning. My name is Jen Christensen. I'm one of the assistant principals at Cypress High School. And we were really fortunate during the 2018-2019 school year to begin our partnership with Equal Opportunity Schools. We were really excited about it because our goal was just to increase the amount of students that we had enrolling in AP, and we wanted to make sure that we included concurrent enrollment within that. And so that was our first goal. And then the other part of our goal as an administrative team was to make sure that we could increase rigor. And so what are other ways that we can increase rigor in our classrooms and just provide a lot of opportunities for our students? And so we worked hard throughout our course selection process last year. We started it in January, and we worked hard through the first part of February, and we increased our number of AP students throughout our entire school by 33%. And so we were really pleased with that result as a school, and it was due to our teachers working hard, and you're going to hear a couple other stories with that, but it was due to our teachers working hard and the efforts of our counselors and our administrative team just trying to really push and provide opportunities for students to take AP and concurrent enrollment courses. So we knew that with that increase, we wanted to make sure that we had things put in place. And so in working with our EOS partnership, we did a lot to prepare for throughout the summer as people maybe decided that they didn't want to take those classes. We worked hard to come up with a process with our EOS committee at our school to have a plan in place, like if a student decides that they do want to drop an AP class, how do we want to make sure that we prevent that from happening? So through the efforts of our committee, we were able to reduce the number of attrition to 7%. So we have been able to keep those students in our classes, and so we've been really happy with that, those results. So one of the other advantages for us participating with Equal Opportunity Schools is we've had an invaluable amount of information that we have been able to use through our school professional developments. The data that we receive, so we receive student insight cards from the student surveys, and the data that we receive on all of the individual students has helped our teachers significantly. It's made them so that they've been able to provide a lot better relationships with students, but really realize, like, okay, what are the barriers that you need? And as we've looked at things and done our professional development, our faculty's loved it because it's data that, not that they've seen just from all over the place, but it's data that is from our students. And so this is what our students said that they wish their teachers knew about them. This is what our students said that they feel like are barriers at our school. And so it's been a big benefit to us because we have used that data in all of our trainings that we have done with our faculty every month at our school. And our teachers have been able to look at that and reflect on practices that they use in their classrooms to provide better opportunities for our students. So I'm excited to introduce you guys today. I brought one of the most amazing educators I think that you could ever meet. Her name is Alicia Johnson. And she teaches our AP World History class in addition to being our SBO advisor. And one of the things that students indicate on their student survey is they indicate trusted. Last year they were called trusted adults and now they're trusted advisors. But our students indicate trusted adults or trusted advisors on their student survey. And Alicia had 245 students from our student body that listed her as their trusted adult at our school last year. And so she has had, I mean, she's definitely one of our pillars of, students absolutely love her at our school. So I'm going to turn the time over to her to tell you a few of the things that she did and how she increased, and she'll tell you about the classes, how many classes she went to for AP World History to what she has this year. And then you get to also hear from 3 of our first-time AP students this year. So I'll turn the time over to Alicia.
Hi, everyone. My name's Alicia Johnson. This is my 5th year teaching at Cypress High School. Actually moved from Ohio to Utah to teach. It was one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. So I teach AP World History. I've taught it for 4 years. It is a sophomore-only class, so I brought some of my 3 amazing sophomores here. This is the first AP class that also has 3 highly structured essay portions. It's a pretty difficult test, but these kids are rising to the challenge. We cover all of human history, starting about the year 1200 to the present in all of the regions of the world. So it's a lot. When I first started at Cypress, my very first year, I had about 2 sections of AP World of about 30 students, so about 60 kids. Now I'm up to 6 full sections of 30 to 35 students, which is a ton, but it's a good ton, right? That's kind of what we're here talking about today. So I wanted to just kind of talk about, as a teacher, what I did with the EOS information and then how we used it to improve our AP numbers. So last year, after taking the EOS survey and Jen letting me know about the trusted adult stuff and all that, I really worked with the freshman teachers underneath of my classes to kind of help identify students who weren't necessarily in AP classes, but based on their survey results, showed that they could be successful. And based on that EOS data, one of the things that we found out is most students said that the number one reason that they did not take AP is because they lacked adult encouragement. That was it, adult encouragement. And I was like, I can do that. So I went to the freshman course selection classes, and before I went, I surveyed my current AP students, and I said, what does it take to be successful in my AP class? And I was shocked. All they said was attendance and a willingness to try. And I thought, we can do that. So I went to the freshman classes, and that's what I told them. I said, I asked your peers, and this is what they said. To take this class, you have to come to school, and you have to have a willingness to try, and that's it. And it was really funny when I was writing all of this yesterday. I had some students after school working on some assignments. It's the end of the quarter, so working on some assignments at the end of the quarter, and I asked them, I said, your first time AP, like what brought you to this class? And both girls said, it was when you came into our freshman classes. And I was shocked again. I'm always shocked by everything. But so I ended up doubling the numbers for the AP students. And it's been wonderful. So another issue with AP that a couple other speakers have mentioned is retention rates. We want them to sign up for the class, but we also want them to finish the class and take the test at the end, right? Because that's the point, they want to get college credit. And then another part of the EOS data told us that another reason that AP students, especially underserved students of color, that kind of thing, do not take AP classes is because they don't think they will be successful, or that it's too much work or too hard. So what I have done, and with the help of the school at Cypress, is we have put a lot of things in place, not only in my class, but also school-wide, where we have, independent study for AP classes. In my class, they can do redo assignments to show growth, retake assessments, get extra help from me after school, like the girls yesterday. And then I also selected a textbook this year that is adaptable for ELL and ESL students as well, which goes right along with EOS. And then we also do a lot of project-based learning instead of traditional assessments, pen and paper tests. So that's kind of where I am right now. I haven't had anybody drop my class yet, so we're doing good. But what I really wanted to do is have you guys hear from the students. So I brought 3 first-time AP students today, Pedro, Daniel, and Litzy. And they are crushing it. Like I was asking, who would be interested in doing this today and who's a first-time AP students? And these 3 raised their hand, and again, I was shocked, right? Because they're doing wonderful, rising to the challenge, all that kind of stuff. So they were asked to share their thoughts with you on the following questions: why they chose to take AP this year, what they hope to accomplish by taking AP classes, what their experience has been like so far, and then why they think it's important other underrepresented students also have the opportunity to challenge themselves in an AP class. So with that, who's going first? Let's see. Daniel's parents are here. Do you want to take a picture of him? Oh, you can? Yeah. I just want them to know. Yeah. Let's see, going first? Okay, so here's.
As a child, my older brother heavily influenced my desire to become a cardiologist. When I looked into it, I found that in 2018, only 20.6% of Latinos get accepted into medical school nationally. I was devastated because I thought I wouldn't be prepared enough to accomplish my dream. But then I heard about AP classes. Like many of my peers, I chose AP to test my limits and stretch my boundaries. Coming from an immigrant family that was in a poverty-stricken side of El Salvador, I really found the true beauty of taking advantage of learning in order to improve my life in the future. A marvelous attribution AP gives to students, including myself, is a sense of what they're up against beyond high school. I believe this will positively assist students later in their academic career. AP classes are inevitably stressful, but I conclude that my dedication, grit, and ability to push forward allows me to fully enjoy the experience of educational growth. My name is Litzy Rivera, and I thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and thank you for having me on behalf of Cypress High School and the program which allows students to complete college-level courses during high school. Statistically, in the class of 2017, only 37.7% of the graduating class participated in an AP class. It is bewildering that more kids aren't taking advantage of this opportunity. I chose to take AP classes because it gives me the opportunity to flex my brain and to test my academic abilities. Another reason I took AP classes is to create new stereotypes for the Hispanic and Latino community. No longer can we be labeled as lazy or job stealers. Soon, Hispanics and Latinos will be known for being hardworking people who deserve a place in society. I really like AP classes because it puts me in an environment with other intelligent collaborators who take education as serious as I do. I think it is important for others to take AP classes because it places them at an advantage for early success. 31% of all colleges and universities look at AP experience when making scholarship decisions. My experience in AP has been a really good one so far. The curriculum is challenging enough to keep me on the edge, yet enjoyable enough for me to feel satisfied. Thankfully, my AP teachers are really helpful and they make me feel as if I truly belong in their class. Without a doubt, I will be taking more AP classes in my following years of high school. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Pedro, and I would just like to say that I'm really nervous for this. I would like to thank Ms. Johnson for choosing us to represent Cypress High School. And the reason I took an AP class for the first time was because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to step out of my comfort zone. I'm originally from Brazil, and I moved here when I was about 8. And English kind of became my second language. And it took me a while to learn it. And ever since then, I kind of just took classes that are easy for me, that didn't really challenge myself, and that I knew I could pass. And my sophomore year of high school, I decided to do something new. I decided to take an AP class because Miss Johnson actually showed up to my freshman class. And he always kind of stuck with me and said that I could do it. And when I first showed up to the AP class, I was scared. But then as time went on, Miss Johnson became a great mentor to me and said that you could do hard things, and it's very challenging, but you could do it. And she made me feel very comfortable in her class. And even though I did bad in the first few tests and I had to do a lot of test corrections, he still made me want to be in that class. It showed me that I could fail, but I still could rise up to the challenge. I want to tell people to take an AP class because it shows you that you can step out of your comfort zone and you can learn a lot more and become a better version of yourself. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Why don't we have the students come right back up to the front here? Board members, do you have any questions that or comments for these students? We appreciate the background and everyone in the education community that makes all of this wonderful stuff happen too, but this is an education highlight. We're glad these students were able to attend. Board Member Cannon.
Pedro, did you find that having English as a second language was more challenging in an AP class than in other classes?
Yeah, because on the textbook, there was words that I didn't know and I had to look it up. But I actually took the time and wrote what the words meant next to the textbook, and that really helped me.
Well done, sir.
Okay. Vice Chair Brittany Cummins.
Thank you for being here today. Can you share with us, is the AP class what you expected? Is it harder or is it easier than what you were thinking it would be?
And that's for all of you or any of you that want to speak.
Personally, I do believe that it was pretty difficult because I am a hardworking person, but I tend to slack a little bit. But I really found that once I appreciated what I was learning, it was a lot more easier to overcome the things that were going my way.
Board Member Gravitt.
Thank you all for coming. You guys are all really well suited for AP, it sounds like. I mean, I can just hear it in what you say, but I'm wondering, I know there aren't very many AP selections in 9th grade, but you guys did not take AP in 9th grade, correct? Can you tell me why? What prevented you from taking an AP class in 9th grade?
I guess just the new setting of high school, not knowing what's going on. And going into it, I was like, I really would like to stick to something that's easy so I can pass. But then Ms. Johnson came into my freshman class. I was like, you should take AP. And I was like, you know what? I will take AP.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I personally didn't take AP because it wasn't the AP that was given to us. It wasn't in my interest, so I dismissed it. But now that I figured out that there's more AP classes for students and it's a lot more varied, I just chose what I was interested in, and I began to fall in love with it.
Nice.
I'm not seeing any other questions or comments, but I have one for you. And listening to your presentations and of course having all this support, it's clear that you are ambassadors in your schools for AP. Can you share any experiences of how you as an ambassador and with your experiences and that you've brought some of your friends and fellow students to choose to get into AP? Or is that something that you guys are doing now, or is it easy, hard, or how's that working for you?
So I'm part of the swim team, and most of my friends take AP classes, and I was the only one that didn't. And they kind of was like, "Do it, you can do it." and I just did it, and I kind of realized that I could do it, and they kind of helped me along the way, and having friends that really care about school helped me to get into an AP class.
Last year during freshman year, while we were still choosing out our classes for sophomore year, I remember me and my friends would sit at the lunch table and we would think about like what classes we wanted to take next for sophomore year. And I remember we all had like a big discussion about if we should take AP or not. And at the end of it, we took AP, and now we're like very satisfied with our choices.
I have friends that have huge dreams, and I'm super proud of them, and they really influenced my desire to just become big like they are as well, and so I kind of gave those or brought those experience with me from my friends and kind of spread it within classes and tried my best to help with other students if they have questions or maybe advise them to the teachers at some point. But I really found that helping others is what really kind of gets the community together and spreads what a common goal.
Board Member Davis, did somebody else turn their light? Is that Board Member Lear?
I think it's me.
Okay, well, it's showing up, Davis,
Yep.
so.
Thank you for coming, and I just want to say that you are so fortunate at Cypress, and I hope you appreciate this. Your principal is still Rob McDaniel, right? What a wonderful role model for all of you and your assistant principal, and I hope you appreciate how lucky you are to have such great men and women who are, in addition to your teacher, who are supporting you and creating an atmosphere in that school that makes you the center of the school and makes your achievement so important. And do not overlook those people in trying to be like them, because I've known Rob for a lot of years, and there is no finer man and educator. And I hope you appreciate how lucky you are. Thanks.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any other questions or comments. Thank you so much for being here, and the school district, support staff, you have your third-party vendor that's been all part of this solution, and hopefully there's others that are tracking this board meeting that's gonna want to have the success that you've had. So thank you for being the ambassadors and the examples you are. Excited to see where you guys go. You guys are on the right track. Thank you for being here.